fans of the Let's Talk Chicago Bears. It's Wednesday before the game on Sunday. Um, I'm not going to do a lot of talking about the Bears today. I'm going to do more on Friday, go over because I just talked, usually I do 2 shows a week. That's what I've been doing so far. The Monday after the win, which we hope we get all the time, and then Friday right before the game. I did a show last Friday after Thursday's game. So today I'm going to talk about a little bit about the Bears, but about kind of just football, the league right now. But so that's why today I've got my one of my Hawaiian Bear shirts on. As you can see, Bears, 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 Bears all over. I've got 3 Hawaiian shirts, 4 actually, with bear stuff on that I've been getting. So family members, they know what I like. So I thought I'd put on one of my Hawaiian Bear shirts today because it's not real. We're just going to talk some football, okay? So let's talk a little bit about that game last night. An interesting stat. That's the only second time since the early 40s when I don't know when they were recording stuff like this. That there's a game been played on Tuesday. The only other time a game was played on a Tuesday was back in December of 2010, and it was because of a blizzard. So they had to play the next day. So that was interesting. And just to let you know, so tomorrow night's game has been changed to Monday. And the reason is because tomorrow night's game would have been Kansas City and the Buffalo Bills. Well, the Buffalo Bills just played yesterday, so it really wouldn't be fair. So they've moved the Kansas City Buffalo game to next Monday. It's going to be on during the afternoon, and then the regular scheduled Monday night game will be on regular. So they're not even going to be, they're not going to interrupt. They said they're going to play it earlier. So that's the world of COVID this year. I'm just grateful the Bears did have one positive test on one of their last week on one of their practice squad guys. So he's been in isolation since, and then they didn't even let the practice squad in, any of them in until I don't even know if they're in yet. I hadn't seen any updates yet, but I know as of Monday they weren't allowed near the complex. But you really need them because, oh yeah, that's right, because they were going to do 10-on-10s on Monday, this last Monday, and because they didn't allow the practice squad in, they couldn't do them. So we need the practice squad because they practice against our team. Um, so that was but I'll give you one little thing to think about, and then we'll move on. But the power rankings so far, they have put those out so far. So the power rankings of the Bears for this coming week, the 6th week of the season, they are now ranked 13th. Last week they were ranked 15th, so that's good. They've moved up a little bit. And their biggest problem, their biggest weakness, I'm sure you can guess it. It's the running game. So that's a problem. Carolina and the Bears are 4-1. Carolina are 3-2, and Carolina, who we're playing on Sunday in Carolina, are now 19th power ranking, and they were 22nd last week. So they moved up, and this is interesting. Their weakness is the defense against the run. So that's kind of a wash, unless the Bears could get something going, right? Because we know Montgomery can run. He's just got to get the holes. I feel if they, he's got to keep pounding it, Nagy. Keep pounding it, pound it. So we'll see, we'll see what happens. So that's really it for the Bears game. So there's other stuff I want to talk about. First of all, I'm not sure you heard it, but Melvin Gordon of the Denver Broncos got a DUI yesterday. You know what? I never, ever, ever understand athletes, especially famous, high contract, money making athletes and actors and all those kind of people, why they don't take Uber or a limo or a cab when they're drunk. What the hell? We used to do that in the day, like if we'd go to a wedding or something, a bunch of us, and we decided, and we would take a limo or there was no Ubers back then or cab, but and then later in life, my husband, before he passed away, he was our designated driver. So, but I mean, come on, you've got the dough, man. Why in the hell would you drink? I don't care if you're out partying, man. Everybody has a right to party. But why would you take those car keys and go in and start that car? Stupid. You deserve the DUI. You deserve whatever you get. Because when you got the cash and the dough, fucking get a limo or a Uber. No one's going to feel sorry for you, Gordon. No one. You're just dumb, okay? And then the biggest news that came out of last night, which I know everybody knows by the time they see my show, is Le'Veon Bell being released from the Jets. Le'Veon Bell, my son right away was like, oh, we got to get him. We got to get him. We need it. We need a running back. And he's right. And Le'Veon Bell, when he was playing and not thinking only about Le'Veon Bell, he was good. He was very good. So what he did was he sat out 2018 because Pittsburgh was not going to didn't want to give him a long-term contract. Clearly, they knew the talent was there, but clearly there was an underlying reason, right? Why wouldn't they have given him a long-term contract? I never understood that. And I said to my son, I started thinking, it's because he's cancer in the locker room. He must have started to become a troublemaker because he is talented. So he sat out 2018. He signed with the Jets in 2019, and he sucked. He sucked last year. And this year, or has he been with the Jets 2 years? It doesn't really matter. But he did sit out 1 year, and then he went to the Jets, and then he has not been good since. There's another player I'm going to talk about like that too. So all he cared about was the money. There's no, team in that guy's head. So, and it turns out him and Gase did not get along. Although Adam Gase, I don't even know how he is still a coach. He sucks. And apparently somebody else, they said, left the Jets, got traded earlier in the year because he couldn't get along with Gase. And someone last year too. So it's like Gase has got a problem. And it doesn't surprise me because when Gase was in Chicago a few years ago, when we still that last year of Cutler, and Cutler was really humming for the first time in a long time, because Gase was our offensive coordinator. Well, Gase and Cutler were like best buddies. Well, yeah, it makes total sense. One jerk gets along with the other jerk. It works because when Gase went to Miami and he lost his quarterback, Cutler had already retired, and Gase got him out of he was working for CBS, and he talked him into coming back, so Cutler played that year. So those guys, but that's the only person I've heard, Cutler, that gets along with Gase. Well, again, think about it. Jerk. They get along. Okay. But Le'Veon Bell, I don't know. It should be interesting. Now, my opinion is, okay, again, he went for the money, didn't work. See, money, it isn't always greener on the other side. The grass is not always greener. I always say that. So you got to watch it. And also, so he wanted more money, right? Okay, so he was in Pittsburgh. And that Pittsburgh would have given him a decent contract if everything had worked out. Probably not as much as he wanted. But if he would have stayed in Pittsburgh, with all the endorsements he would have gotten within the land of Pittsburgh land, he would have made up the money. So stay where you are. Stay where you see it's happening. You got Ben Roethlisberger throwing to you, handing off to you. You were winning. You won a Super Bowl with him. Come on, man. So, it's just changing teams. And then the other one was on Pittsburgh as well was, I can't think of him. He's the receiver. You don't even hear about his name anymore. Dang it, I can't even remember his name, see? And he left because he wanted, more money, and it didn't work out. And you know what? If I'm going to have a show, I really need to know the names of the players, I mean, come on, Len. What's up with that? I don't know. Come on. But my point, you get my point, is you got to be careful. So, Le'Veon Bell, let's think about it. The only way we'd only take him for 1 year. That's all you'd sign him for. And I'm not even sure the Bears have the cap for it. Pretty sure they were close to their cap in the off season. But you can always restructure other contracts so that you can afford somebody. But my problem is he a cancer? If he learned his lesson and realized that jumping for money only was not the answer now, and he wants to win and maybe get another ring, just wants to play, and he says to the team he goes to, I learned my lesson. I am a team player. It's not I, because he's I. And in team, especially football, there is no I. And the thing about the Bears is, and Nagy has said it many times, and he's right, it's a special group we got this year, real special. They don't give up, and they're getting better each week, except for our quarterback situation, which we're not talking about today. But so if Le'Veon Bell really had his head on straight, then I'd be like, sign him for a year. Because he is great. He can catch, he can run, and let's face it, he's just a plain threat. So you put him in there with Montgomery, I think we'd do just fine. And it would be sweet, but only if he's got his head on straight and it ain't all about him. So that's really more of a Nagy thing. I think Nagy, if the Bears are considering it at all and can afford it, Nagy better really have a good conversation with him first. I don't even want Pace doing it. I want Nagy doing it, because I may not like Nagy's play calling and some of his decisions, but he knows people and he's good with these guys. That's the thing about him. That's why he needs to put the offensive coordinator job that he's doing, even though he's got an offensive coordinator, the play calling, and give it to somebody else and just concentrate on the team, because he really is good with the players. He's a good motivator and stuff. Just concentrate on that, man. Why do you got to do both? Okay, so we'll see about Le'Veon Bell. When I see you Friday, you know he's going to be on a team, and we'll discuss that then. And then, teams. And the other thing, I was talking about teams. There are a few teams that still have not lost. Yeah, I know. Pittsburgh is 4-0. But they have they're one game behind because one of their games was canceled and it's been rescheduled for with the Titans on October 25th. They both had byes then, so that's when they're playing. So Pittsburgh's 4-0, but they're not because of a postponed game. So they won't play that game until October 25th. Tennessee is 4-0. And obviously, they still need to play a game. They're down because they had to postpone the Pittsburgh game, as I just told you. But they're 4-0. Green Bay is also 4-0, but that's legit because they had the bye week started last week. So Green Bay had their had their bye already. And what's nice about the Bears is their bye is not for a while. They have a later bye. I love late byes because you can, if you're winning and you have a later bye, and then you could just rest. You know what I mean? Although last week playing on Thursday is kind of a mini bye because you don't play for another 10 days. And then the last team is Seattle. They're 5-0. So they're right there. They're the one team that's played all their games and they're 5-0. And what can you say about Russell Wilson? I mean, seriously, that guy, he was on. No one thought he was going to be anything great in the NFL when he was with. He finished his years with Wisconsin. That's where the quarterback he was at the end of his college career. He was transferred from, I want to say Alabama, but I could be wrong. But I think he came from Alabama and he went to Wisconsin because he wasn't getting playing time, and then he was fantastic at Wisconsin. I love the Big Ten, so I'm a college person too. And the Big Ten's coming back, not this weekend, but next weekend on the 24th they start playing again. So I'm excited about that. And then the only other thing I was, I was thinking about, some of the games, like when I was watching San Francisco. Man, see that Jimmy Garoppolo, I've never been on that bandwagon. I know he's won some games when Tom Brady went down in New England, he came out, but that was a he had a lot of talented guys around him. He had an offensive line that I'm pretty sure I could have thrown touchdown passes. It was so good. I mean, let's face it, at the end of the day, if you've got a good offensive line and you've got a quarterback who has got any kind of smarts and an arm, you're going to be fine. Last night, I watched, oh God, who was it? I think it was, yeah, it was. It was the Bills were on offense. And Josh Allen, I swear to God, he could have had a poker game going in the back. He had so much time to throw the ball. It was awesome. And then he threw it, and it was a touchdown. And but it was called back because of a penalty. But it was so. I mean, I'm like, oh my God, look how much time he has. I'm 62, and I could have thrown a. He was having a party back there. So that's something. If you got a good line. But Jimmy Garoppolo, he got benched on Sunday because they were getting creamed. So, and it was for his first day back. Gosh, he's been out a couple weeks with a bad ankle leg. So I don't know, but they did bench him in the fourth quarter. But the coach said it was because he wanted to not get him hurt, and it could have been it. Could have been just rusty, but wow, that's not the San Francisco team that was in the Super Bowl last year. Just saying. And then I thought we'd real quick talk about, before I end the show, about some of the youngsters. I mean, these are the young quarterbacks out there. Joe Burrows for Cincinnati. This is his rookie year. And there's only upsides to him, providing that they put the tools around him. I see him really well. Gardner Minshew. Gardner Minshew in Jacksonville. Now, he came on last year, and he was a rookie last year, and he came on when was it Fitzgerald that was over there? I can't remember. Was struggling, so they put him in, and then it really became about the mustache. Remember, everybody was talking about the mustache, which, by the way, Aaron Rodgers with that mustache, now he's got a beard, but when they show him in the mustache picture, he looks like a porn star. I'm just saying. So Minshew, I don't know. He had a rough game last week, and then they said that the problem with Minshew is he can't make decisions really quick. Sometimes he freezes up, and he holds on to the ball too long. So we'll see about that. But another young quarterback, second year. Daniel Jones, second year in the league. Right now, his problems are he's with the New York Jets. Sorry, he fumbles the ball a lot. He can't seem to hang on to it. So he's a work in progress. There's a lot of ifs with that guy. He was drafted low. So we'll see what happens. But another youngster, second year, Josh Allen, as I said, for the Bills. Second year, he's got an arm, man. That guy, I was seeing some throws last night in that game. There was no way he should be making those. I don't even see Ben doing that. And they were in there. But they got to get a little more talent around him. But he's still young. So he made some good decisions, and then he made some bad decisions. But that's youth. I would take Josh Allen any day of the week. Any day. With the problem, with the inexperience, I'd still take him. So, boy, the Bills, you got these are guys. Well, some of them like Joe Burrow, future quarterback. Minshew, not so much. Jones, not so much. Josh Allen, yes. Then we've got Sam Darnold. God bless him, and the Jets quarterback. That guy, he don't have a chance. So there's a lot of there's a lot of upside to that guy, but he's stuck in a very bad system, bad coaching and everything. So we don't know if he's good or not. He was supposed to be, but he's just this is his third year, I think, and I don't know. I hate to see such a young guy come out and coaches just mess up the head, because it can happen. And then you're done. So that we don't know. Dwayne Haskins for Washington team. Sorry. I've been reading and hearing he's lazy. He doesn't like to do films. He's lazy. Gosh, was it last year? He went out, scored a touchdown, went back to the sideline, got his phone, and started texting people. Turned out there was a penalty, and he had to go back out onto the field. And they couldn't find him right away. He was over on the bench texting somebody. I don't know. I'm thinking phone is the last thing you should have out on the bench with you, and texting is the last thing you should be thinking about when you're in a professional football game. So Haskins, and then the marvelous, seeing how we're talking about Washington, Alex Smith. I mean, my God, the guy had 17 surgeries on his leg. A couple years ago, this happened. He had a compound fracture where the bone was out, like Joe Theismann, many, many years ago, and that ended his career. Uh, Alex Smith, I mean, this guy, he couldn't walk for over a year. He was in a wheelchair. He couldn't drive for almost 2. And he almost died at one point because he got a staph infection. And I can speak from experience on that. Those are very, very scary. I did not, but my husband did. So, but Alex Smith comes in to the game on Sunday, and I watch a little bit, and every time he got hit, I was just like sick. I was like, no, get up. I was so afraid that he was going to get hurt. I don't know why the guy went back. He's 37, 17 surgeries on one leg, almost died, and he's back in the NFL. God bless him. I always thought he was screwed because when he was with San Francisco, he was playing really well. And then Harbaugh benched him and put in Kaepernick. And look where that got him. He left there because he didn't. When that didn't work out at the end of the year, they parted ways, and he went to Michigan, coach. But San Francisco didn't want him. Don't get it wrong. It wasn't he left on his own. He was going to be fired if he didn't leave. So, and then he went to Kansas City. Alex was doing really well, and then, they draft who, Patrick Mahomes. So then he goes to Washington and gets hurt his first season there, and a couple years ago, and went through this, and now he's back playing. So I don't know what's going to happen with Washington, but my heart goes out to Alex Smith. God bless you, man. You got a lot of guts and courage. That's all I got to say. Drew Lock of the Denver Broncos. He's hurt. Haven't seen enough of him, but he's still young. His second year in the season, and second year in the NFL. So another, but that one's an up in the air one. So we're not going to be, but young. Kyle Murray in Arizona. He's looking good too. He's looking special. Small. But then so was Wilson in Seattle, Russell Wilson. But just because Russell Wilson can do it doesn't mean that Kyler Murray can do it. So that's the one thing they say could be his downfall, is that he can't see over the lineman because he's so short. But he's a runner. So I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of upsides to Kyler Murray. I am not a fan of short quarterbacks. If they're less than 6'1" or 6'2", you're going to have some trouble unless you're Russell Wilson. That's all I'm going to say on that. And that's it. So there's a lot of young quarterbacks. It's not the league of the Ben Roethlisbergers, Brady, those kind of guys. Those years it's now these guys are coming up. They're the next, well, let's face it, Patrick Mahomes, Watson in Texas, when they get a real coach and real GM, those are going to be some good quarterbacks for the future. They're the future of the league. So all I can say is I just hope that next year Pace can find somebody, because it's, if we keep winning, our first draft pick is going to be a little bit lower, but you can find good quarterback. We just need them. Although coming off this year with college, I don't know what you're going to see as much because of the COVID. They're not all playing, and they're playing, some teams are playing easy teams. Like this week, college, Notre Dame's playing Louisville. Sorry, Andrew. It's my friend out there. He's probably not watching anyways. But Notre Dame's going to cream them. But I don't think they normally would play Louisville if we weren't in the COVID years. So, all right, I'm going to shut up about that. So that's it. That's just, a little chit-chat, football chit-chat today. Nothing really, stuff that I taught you. And And then we're going to see the next couple days how the Bears, as of today, there was the same injuries as last. Bush and McManus were the two on the injury report today. So we'll see on Friday who's playing and who's not, and we'll go over the game, Carolina versus the Bears, and I guess that's it. So as always, I enjoy talking to you guys. I hope you enjoy my show. Maybe you'll learn something. Women out there, if there's some women watching the show, which I really truly hope so, maybe they'll learn some. It always impresses men when women talk football. One little story, real quick. Many years ago, I think this is probably before my son was born, but we were in a bar. My husband and I were sitting at the bar drinking, watching TV, and I started talking to this guy next to me about football. And he was saying some stuff, and then he's like, yeah, and he started talking down to me like I'm an idiot, right? And my husband leans over and says, she knows a lot of football, so don't be dismissing her. And I knew more than that guy knew. And he was just like, wow, I'm a little impressed. So women do know football. All I'm saying. All right, listen. Love you guys. Thanks for the support. Keep on watching. Keep on rocking and rolling. Love one another. Treat each other with respect. And please vote. And remember, keep on rocking and rolling from Vegas, baby. And who are the best? The Bears. I'll see you guys on Friday. Oh, bye-bye.